Hello, and thank you everyone for watching this week's edition of Ask Ron, where Ron answers your Gold Club members' questions each and every week. I have Ron here ready to answer your questions. How you doing today, Ron?
I'm doing great. All you snowbirds ought to be down here. You wouldn't believe the day it is out there today. It's perfect as far as that concerns. So, of course, we have that kind of weather every day or every month down here, don't we, Jesse?
That's right. It's only cold, but a handful of days in 1 year.
You think they bought it?
First up, we have Tony and Angie, who are cold in Ohio. Their question is, if you discover title issues after you've already signed a terms agreement, what's your standard procedure?
Well, that depends on what the problem is. It is the seller's problem. It's not your problem. And, I don't know what you're looking at. Is it a tax lien? Is it a contractor's lien? Exactly what is it? Because there are different ways to get rid of that lien. And if you know it's going to be easy to get rid of it, you might want to make it part of your purchase price instead of making the seller do anything to get rid of it. And I can't go any further than that till I know what it is, Tony. What kind of lien is it? For example, let's say somebody sued him and he lost the case. Well, all I need is I move one lien on another lien. That's called, I can't think of what it's even called right now, but I take that lien off the first house, put it on another house that I might have. That of course takes the permission of the seller that I owe the second house on. But it's not a big deal. And it's not your problem, by the way. Either they got to fix it or the attorney's got to fix it, or you can't buy it, and if you can't buy, nobody else can either. So if I knew more about it, I could answer better, but that's the answer.
Gotcha. And he says, by the way, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
All right, next up we have John in New Jersey. He says, I'm new and haven't done a deal yet. I want to start out wholesaling and want to be sure of filling out the agreement to sign contract correctly. How can I get that information?
Well, I know you're a Gold Club member, and all my forms and agreements are on the Gold Club site. They're also in my courses, and they're also in the manual at the boot camp, all filled out with clauses and everything. So you didn't tell me whether you've been to the boot camp or not. It doesn't look like it, just based on your questions, but that's the easiest part of the business. Agreement's not a big deal here, especially, just keep this in mind. When I'm buying a house, I'm gonna give them a $10 deposit. Worst case, it don't go through, all right, they keep the deposit. Actually, unless it's their fault. And it would be actually, because I'm not gonna mess up. I can't mess up there. I can't, well, I can put a lien on their property if I am entitled to one, but by cleaning up another one, I would substitute that collateral to another house, depending on the size of the lien. And the person who created the lien and recorded the lien is the one you have to deal with, because they're probably figuring out they're never going to get paid. But I don't know. I am just guessing here. So you guys got to be more specific when you send these questions in if you want good answers, because right now I'm just making stuff up. Just has to be true.
Next up, we have Sarah Mitchell from Florida. When I'm making calls to pre-screen sellers, what are the most important questions I should focus on so I don't get stuck in long conversations that never turn into deals?
Right. What was your first name?
Sarah.
Sarah. It sounds like you haven't been to my Quick Start school, because we go over that thoroughly, along with 14 mistakes that people make on the phone. What it amounts to is you start asking questions and then answering questions with questions, and shut up the whole time. Right? Don't talk unless you're talked to. You're not going to do a seminar in there. And I can promise you that if you're not getting deals, and they are a deal, it's because of what's coming out of your mouth and how you present this closing with this visit to the house. It takes practice like anything else, but you just got to figure out how to do it and then practice on doing it the right way. And if you haven't been to my Quick Start school, get here. I'm doing one in January and February right here in Jacksonville in this building. And we got a great deal on it right now. Where should they call on that? Maybe.
I'll put a phone number down below and some
right.
more information about Quick Start.
Check it out. So we got Good event coming up.
All right, next up we have David from Texas.
Mhm.
On a terms deal where I'm buying with a lease option and then selling to a tenant buyer, what are the key things I should watch for so I don't create a mess up with the underlying financing or my exit?
Well, you first do a title search. That's the first thing you do after the ink is dried. Make sure you don't have any issues like the one I just talked about. And when the title comes back clean, you're not putting any money into this deal to speak of, so I'm not really sure what you're worried about. So read that to yourself again and tell me, is there a shorter question there? Or something I didn't cover?
Let's see. On a terms deal where I'm buying with a lease option and then selling to a tenant buyer, what are the key things I should watch for?
Okay.
That's the question.
Number one, you have to tell the seller what your intent is, which is I'm going to go find a buyer to put in this house, and then hopefully put somebody in here that will qualify for a loan and pay us all off in the future. Now, your seller will agree to that if you have that conversation up front, but they'll agree with it even if you don't, because this is how they can get paid off. And you're doing nothing illegal, but you do have to go back and get a contract from the seller to your buyer, and showing the amount of deposit you got from your buyer. You have to do that on if you're going to lease option it out. That's an axe deal, or it's probably more toward the simultaneous closing than it is an axe deal. But if you're not going to keep it, then it's not an issue here. If you are going to keep it, still not an issue if you check the title, make sure it's clear. I'm not sure what you're really worried about. You write back and tell me what exactly is you're worrying that's bothering you, and maybe I can figure it out. Well, you guys hitting home runs today. He's got a question's got to be complete. Ask yourself, could I understand that question and know how to answer it? And if the answer is no, maybe you ought to try it again. Get GPT to help you.
All right, our last question for this week is Karen O'Neill out of North Carolina.
Karen?
If I'm working a pretty house lead and the seller refuses to give me their mortgage information, what's the best way to handle that objection and still structure a profitable deal?
I would tell them, listen, there's a couple of ways I buy houses. One of them is all cash, but you don't want to go that way because that's going to be a deep discount. And the other one is if I start making your payments until someday in the future when we're cashed out. Now that's my pitch to get them to say, and then the last line with that would be, so do you think you want cash or do you want a lot more money? You want to hear about your other options? Okay, they'll always say options because you frankly just told them you're not paying cash for the house because of numbers. Pay cash for junkers, not for beautiful homes and beautiful neighborhoods. So now they're going to tell me, yeah, I'll hear you out. That's when you go to your script and read all the benefits of it. And at the bottom of that script, you ask, you find out if they're in or out. Once you do the main script, then you go to the script with the 3 questions on it. That's $1 million script, which are, what's the least you could take for your house? We usually buy with nothing down, okay? And I'm sure you're okay if I just make your payments till we're paid off. Those are the 3 big questions right there. You got to get through those questions in order to get to the arranging a trip out to the house. That's another script that's right in the manual. So your idea is to start with a longer script, screen them quickly because most of them will be screened out. You don't even want to talk to them. They want retail price for the house and you want it by next Thursday kind of stuff. So we start with the script and let your VAs fill out the PI sheets for you because it's a lot of grunt work. They send it to you. After they get done, you make the call to the seller, which usually going to take you about 2 minutes, and then you go from there. If it's a pretty house and it's obviously going to be close to the retail value and it doesn't need any work, you're not looking at a cash deal. Pretty simple. If it doesn't need a rehab, it's not going to be a cash deal because you're not going to buy it at a price that I would approve. Okay, and I'm pretty mean about that. I learned a long time ago. Your profit is in your purchase, not any of the other things that worry you. So if I got all the way through the scripts, I simply set an appointment. I even have an appointment script to set the appointment, make sure they're both there. And I just ask them point blank before I go out, Now, John, if I come out there and you and I agree upon all of the numbers, are you ready to sell your house today? And are you ready to sell your house today? So if I don't get a yes, well, I'm not sure why I'd want to go out there. Unless it looks like it's a real sweet deal and you want to go, and you think you can negotiate a better one when you get there, which you almost always can. So it's nothing more than in the script. If you don't have my scripts, they're on the Gold Club site. That would be under resources, I think. And I don't know if it's on there as its own line item, but if it isn't, just pull up the lease purchase part of that. And Jesse's going to check that out for you and have it ready next week.
Yep, and anything that you're looking for in the Gold Club site, you can just put in the keywords to it at the top search bar, and it'll pull anything that you're looking for specific up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're getting ready to close the year out, aren't we? Yeah. Have you guys been naughty or you been nice? Are you going to get anything for Christmas, or is Santa going to abandon you? Is he going to be taking a break when he gets to your house, or what? Regardless of all of that, you're going to, at the beginning of a new year right now, between you and me, I think it's going to be a banner year. Everything's going for us is on the upside. Everything is moving up. Prices of everything are slowly coming down on some things. They got a long way to go though, don't they? I tell you, I go to the grocery store from time to time, and I can't believe the little amount of stuff I get for big prices there right now. But anyway, it's all getting fixed. Fixing everything is bad, or most everything. So the best we can do is make sure that what they do in Washington is not going to hurt us. Let's take care of your house. Quit worrying about the White House, because you're the only one that cares whether you get paid or not. All right. I'll see you all next week, same channel. Have a good Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, Ron.